Hey guys, Pastor Rod. Happy Wednesday morning. This morning I was pondering on revival, what revival is, what it means. And I think it means different things for different people. I think different people have different expectations on revival. For example, many in the church think of revival as a reviving of their spiritual faith, their walk with God, a renewing of it. For other people, they see it more, I think, as it is intended, and that is a first encounter for people outside of faith. So when we talk about revival spreading across the land, really what we're talking about or asking for is people who have never known Christ to come to him for the first time. It's a kind of an interesting term, but we would expect both. I would expect a reignition of lives, and I would also expect new lives to come in. Jesus said, "Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send laborers into the field." I believe we're in the hour where laborers are required in the field. We're starting to see little pockets of revival break out in different spots. If you've been watching the news, you know in California, revival seems to be breaking out. People are getting baptized in the ocean and meeting God for the first time. Others are rededicating their lives. I heard recently in Portland, they're starting to see the same types of things, just little pockets. As I was pondering on this, I was thinking of a flywheel. And I don't know if you know what a flywheel is or how it works. Basically what it is it's a disc. You'll find them on almost every motor. You'll find them on, cars have them. The idea of the flywheel is it's a big disc that stores energy. If you're a science fan like I am, Isaac Newton's first law of motion is that objects in motion tend to stay in motion, and objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless they're acted on by an outside force or a different force. See, the idea of a flywheel is once the machine is in motion, it is harder because of the flywheel to stop that motion. In the old days, cars had clutches, and so you would get your engine revved up a little bit and you'd slowly let out the clutch. Well, as the clutch would interface with the motor, it would tend to kill the motor. A lot of times people would feel that big lurch and they'd kill the engine when they were learning how to drive. The flywheel is to keep that in motion. And so as you learn to drive a clutch, you learn to let it out a little slower and let the power of the flywheel keep the engine moving. Now, race cars, they often use very light, thin flywheel. What that means is the engine's very easy to kill when you let the clutch out, but it moves a lot faster, so it can reach RPM a lot faster. Two different ways of handling the same thing. And so the question is, do we want it to all happen very fast, or do we want it to be unstoppable? See, a big, heavy flywheel is very, very hard to stop. It's almost impossible to stop. Big flywheels are used to generate electricity. They're used to launch roller coasters. A flywheel has the ability to store an immense amount of energy, immense amount of potential. And with that, the bigger it is, the harder it is to get it started. But once it's started, the harder it is to stop it. And that's kind of the way I see the kingdom of heaven these days. It seems like in many ways things just aren't happening right away. I want it to happen now. But it's ramping up to speed. It's coming up to speed. And the beauty of that is as revival breaks out, you'll see little pockets as it comes up to speed, and that'll catch fire, and more speed will continue. More energy is put into that flywheel, and it moves faster, it turns faster, it goes faster, and then more revival breaks out, until we reach the point where it is absolutely impossible to stop it. It doesn't matter what force comes against it, it will just move that force in the same direction it's going. This is the nature of the kingdom. The kingdom is a force that is unstoppable. Today I want to encourage you with this. If you're looking for revival, I believe it's not far off. If you're looking for personal revival, I want to remind you the kingdom of heaven is within you. Today, there are people who haven't heard, and they haven't heard because we haven't told them. So I want to encourage you to share the gospel with somebody today. Add to this angular momentum, add to the power of this flywheel, add to what's happening in the kingdom. And as the momentum moves forward, it will become a force in the earth that is absolutely unstoppable. Friends, have an awesome week.